सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Om. Chapter 13, Shloka number 8. अमानित्वमदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचम् स्थैर्यमात्मविनिग्रहः. Lord Krishna dealing with the topic of Jnanam, which is known as values or dharma. The values which are required to attain self-knowledge. One has to attain self-knowledge to come out of this samsara problem. Vyadhi, Jara, Marana is put together samsara. Vyadhi, Jara, Marana by itself is not samsara. The pain caused by the old age, disease and death, the pain one who undergoes, that person is in samsara problem in artha. So to come out of that mental pain or struggle is called moksha. To come out of that pain, sorrow. If one desires to get that knowledge, self-knowledge, he has to attain these qualifications. Jnana yogyata anartha. What are they? Totally 20 points or 20 values Lord Krishna is giving. What is the first one we saw in the last class? We were seeing amanitvam. Up to 12th sloka, from 8th sloka onwards, the third topic, 20-point program. If I fulfill all these 20 values and I study from a competent teacher, Brahmajnanam is bound to come. And one need not struggle. That Brahmajnanam or self-knowledge is bound to come. It will take place. Therefore, amanitvam means, what is the first virtue a spiritual seeker has to imbibe or develop? Freedom from conceit. Amanitvam. Manitvam, pride you can take. Here, amanitva means humility, absence of pride. Garva rahitam, ahankara rahitam. Amanitvam. How we understood that? Manitva means the one who expects always appreciation, recognition, admiration from others. That is called manitvam. Amanitva means who is not seeking any acknowledgement from others for his accomplishments. One who never seek any admiration or appreciation from others is called a person who is having amanitvam anartha. So if we have that type of nature, what is the problem? I was giving you some important points that day. Once you are always interested in admiration, no? Admiration by others. Everyone should admire me. No? What will happen? I am always in, what you can call, I am always away from the fact. What is that fact? Really speaking, I am not deserved for admiration. I am only, it's not the cause. My greatness, my success in life is not because of me alone. It is because of so many factors. How can I claim admiration or appreciation totally from others? I have to become a great person to achieve something. Mother, father, teacher, brothers or sisters, society is helping so much. How can I demand appreciation from others? So therefore, I forget the fact there are so many factors involved for my success. So I become selfish. And I forget that this is coming from the Lord alone. I ignore the Lord's appreciation. Vibhuti of the Lord I forget. This, my glory is not my glory, it's Bhagavan's glory. How can I claim this admiration? So Bhagavan only is having total power. That power only little it is manifesting here. Really, I am not the owner of this greatness. Bhagavan is the owner of this greatness. I am not the owner. Bhagavan only is deserved to this appreciation, admiration. What is another disadvantage? If I am always seeking admiration from others, I develop jealousy. I cannot appreciate any other person. Even though really they have virtues, they have efficiency, I cannot admire them. As though I do not know, I ignore them. I ignore and I never like to listen about that person. This type of jealousy will develop. So this type of mind is not a healthy mind. Another important thing we have to know, there are people who are all having greatness than me. No? Record break. If you break the record, somebody will come tomorrow, they break your record. No? In cricket, chess and all champions we are seeing, no? Finals, semi-finals, Grand Master, Guinness Book record. So there are always people who break your record. I have created a record, they say. You have created a record, that is true, but your record is breakable. Tomorrow, any other person will come in the same field. It is breakable. That's the hit song. Hit song is that song which hits the previous song. Like that, there are so many great people than me. So, amanitvam, even great people, how to recognize how people developed this greatness. For example, we take some great people, how they followed this humility. For that, few examples we can see. One example, Kalidasa presents a few ideas about this. How much humility he has got. How great Kalidasa. But he has got a great amanitvam. He expresses in one shloka Kalidasa's humility. You can know 2-3 shlokas. You have to learn the humility. What is humility from great people? He says in one shloka, Mandaha kaviyashaha prarthi gamishya mupahasyatam prashur labhye phale lobhat udbahuriva vamanaha. What he says, I am a dull person, Kalidasa says, a great poet who wrote many kavyams, Raghuvamsham, Abhignana Shakuntalam, like that, Megha Sandesham he has written. In which language? Sanskrit. Sanskrit. He's a great poet. He says, I am a dull person. Through my poetry, Mandaha aham kaviyashaha prarthena. Through this poetry, I seek name and fame. Kaviyashaha prarthi. I seek name and fame. As a great poet, I am seeking, really speaking, I am not a great poet, but I am seeking the name and fame like a great poet. And the whole world is Gamishyam Upahasyatam. The whole world is laughing at me. The whole world is going to laugh at me. I am seeking name and fame. Whole world is laughing at me. And he gives an example. I am just like that person. What? Udbahuriva vamanaha. Prashulabhe phale lobhat. Out of greediness, name and fame sake, I am seeking name and fame out of greediness, with my little knowledge. Just like a dwarf, Vamanahana, a dwarf, is trying to catch the fruits. He says, Udbahuriva Vamanaha. There is a dwarf jumping to pluck the fruits from a tall tree. Udbahuriva, a small person. Vamanahana, dwarf. Jumping. Vamanaha Udbahuriva. He is jumping to pluck the fruits of a tall tree. Like that, I am an ordinary poet. I am jumping. In this poetry, I am trying to get lot of name and fame. How much humility has got. Such a great poet. It is like jumping like that small person. Short person. I am also trying like that. That is called humility of great people. Even Madhusudana Saraswati also, he shows his humility. He compared himself like that you saw one Guru Ginja in Telugulo choluva, red and black, one side red, one side black, small seed. It is. Muttumandi. So when they want to, the gold, when they put in the balance, the weight of the gold they want to see, slight difference, like they put this Kundumani. So that Kundumani they put this side. And this Kundumani, there's little, how much difference, and even the minute grams difference, and the Kundumani potuva. Madhusudana Saraswati says, I am like Kundumani. Bhagavad Gita is like a gold. See, Kundumani cannot get the value of the gold, even the Trasila. Sometimes they put in the gold side. Kundumani, where we put gold to measure, there itself they put Kundumani. So, Kundumani sits along with the gold. Can that Kundumani get the value of that gold? It can never get. Similarly, Madhusudana Saraswati says, I am like Kundumani. Even though I have written the commentary, great commentary, Bhashyam he has written, Vyakhyanam on Bhagavad Gita. Where is Bhagavad Gita? Krishna Paramatma teaching, Vyasa Bhagavan is teaching. Where is my Vyakhyanam? I am like Kundumani. Great people always knows their limitation. Okay. Another sloka also he says, Kwa Suryaha, Kalidasa says, Kwa Suryaha Prabhavo Vamshaha Kvachalpa Vishayamatihi Titirshur Dustaram Mohat Udupe Naiva Sagaram. Beautiful slokas. Kalidasa trying to write Raghuvamsham. About that Raghuvamsham, Rama's, Lord Rama's tradition, the whole thing, Raghuvamsham. Where is Raghuvamsham? Where am I an ordinary poet? I am. Kva Surya Prabhavaha Vamshaha. Surya Vamsham. Raghuvamsham is Surya Vamsham. Kva Surya Prabhava Vamshaha. What is such a great Vamsham it is? Kvachalpa Vishayamatihi. I am an ordinary poet with a little grammar, I know, Sanskrit. Titirshur Dustaram Mohat. A person out of delusion, he want to cross the huge ocean with a Udupe Naiva Sagaram. He want to cross the ocean with a small boat, catamaran. Catamaran, the raft. The raft is just like a person want to cross the ocean with a raft. How is it possible now? Similarly, I am trying to write about Raghuvamsham with my ordinary intellect. Who? Kalidasa. If we have Sanskrit grammar, enge knowledge namakku enna sollikave koodadhu. கொஞ்சம் ராமஹ வந்த உடனே நமக்கு என்ன, ஐ ஆம் ஏ சான்ஸ்கிரிட் ஸ்காலர். Like that, people generally think it's like that. Therefore, humility we have to develop. Next one, adambhitvam. Adambhitvam means simplicity. Freedom from pomp and show. Freedom from pomp and show. Dambhitva means Vesha Bhasha Bhushadhi Swamahastva Prakatanam. Vesham, whatever he wears, the dress, anything, Vesham, Bhasha, language, Bhushadi, what are other ornaments he is wearing. Swamahatva Prakatanam, showing one's own greatness. Prakatanam means publicizing. That is called Dambhitvam. Adambhitva means freedom from that pomp and show. Absence of pretense. This Dambhitvam is because of, it is a consequence of inner emptiness. Why one want to show his greatness or pomp and show in Vesham, in the dress, whatever they wear, they want to show. Whatever they possess in car, house and all, they want to show their dambikam. Why? It is because of inner emptiness. Inge onnu stuff kediyadu. No intelligence, no knowledge, nothing. They show their greatness through the dress or decoration or so many other things by possessions. This is called Dambhitvam. If he is free from that Dambhitvam, it is called Adambhitvam. The whole Mahabharata is full of manitvam and dambhitvam. Whole Mahabharata, you take all great people, great people in the sense Drupada and Draupadi, Drona, Ashwadhama, Duryodhana, all of them full of vengeance, retaliation, vengeance, paga, out of dambhitvam, out of manitvam, self-respect, too much of expectation. And we have to understand one more important point I left in the manitvam. Mani cannot face apamanam. That is why some people, they cannot face apamanam in their life. And they will vacate the place and go away. Such people cannot face any insult in their life. Those who are having dambhitvam and manitvam, they cannot face the insult. So we have to dilute our manitvam and dambhitvam. And another point also we have to note, we should not mistake, if any person is having amanitvam, we should not mistake that it's a lack of self-respect. Some people show their humility, lot of humility. And some people mistake those people, even self-respect kadiyadu, self-respect kadiyadanu solluvan. If some people show their humility, in so many aspects they show humility. And some people mistake them. This humility, they mistake, this person is not having self-respect ani solluvan. So not that. We should not underestimate the self-respect. Here, we should not mistake that amanitvam as lack of self-respect. But self-respect means freedom from inferiority complex. Self-respect means what? Freedom from inferiority complex. So, amanitva means freedom from superiority complex. Self-respect means freedom from inferiority complex. Self-esteem, self-respect. You can be free from inferiority complex. Amanitva means what? Freedom from superiority complex. We should not have superiority complex also. We should not have inferiority complex also. Better not to have any complex. We are all staying in complexes. No? Complex. So that we have to develop that freedom from superiority complex. And Kalidasa says another place, if anyone praise me, scholars should praise me, then only I can validate my knowledge, not ordinary people. The qualified people, they validate my knowledge, then only I have something, some knowledge. Otherwise, I don't want to validate by the people who are ignorant, who are not qualified. Like that, sometimes anybody is praising, we are so happy. Aha, oh. Who is praising? First, we should know those people. Are they know this subject really? They have the qualification to praise us, to validate our knowledge. That's why we should not enamored by that validation by ordinary people. Who is validating also is the criteria. For that he says another shloka also. In the shloka time batad. Okay. I don't want to say so many shlokas. So Vinayam is important. Even Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya writes in Shatpadi Stotram, Avinayam apanaya Vishnu, Damaya manaha shamaya vishaya mrugatrishna. Avinayam apanaya. Hey Bhagavan, remove my avinayam. Give me that quality called humility. Humility and Vinayam. Vinayam and opposite is Manitvam. So we have to develop Amanitvam. Adhe madari Dambhitvam, that inferiority always we compensate with Dambhitvam, inferiority. We always compensate with the outer external exposure, external show. Free from that. Philosophical angle, if we see, because of external Dehabhimana, why one has developing this Dambhitvam, pomp and show, because of Dehabhimana. External Dehabhimana, if it is too much, person develop lot of Dambhitvam. That is the meaning. So simplicity, lack of simplicity is called Dambhitvam. This person is very simple and chalva. Nobody knows he has got such a knowledge. No one knows that he has got lot of richness. No one knows he has got lot of possessions. No one knows. But he never publicized that. Therefore, very, very simple person. He never show that through his dress, ornaments, or chappals, or other possessions. That is called Adambhitvam. Next one is Ahimsa. This is also very, very important virtue. A spiritual seeker has to develop or cultivate. Himsa means violence. Ahimsa means non-violence. Freedom from violence. It is a Mahavratam. Among so many Vratams or vows, this is one of the most important vow. Non-violence. Himsam na kuryat. That is said by Shastra. Himsam na kuryat. How na manasa vacha karmana. Mentally, verbally, and physically. One has to be free from violence. According to Shastra, Himsa comes under Pancha Mahapapam. Mahapatakam. Himsa comes under Mahapapa. Patanjali says in Yoga Sutras, Ahimsa pratisthayam tat sannidhau vairatyagaha, he says. If anyone follows 12 years non-violence, that is called Mahavratam. Ahimsa pratisthayam, if one follows non-violence for many years, pratisthayam tat sannidhau, surroundings to that people, nearby, tat sannidhau vairatyagaha, even born enemies also become friends. Born enemies, vairatyagaha, and that enmity, born enemies also become friends and artha. That is called the sutra meaning. Violence in the form of hurting others. Violence in the form of hurting others. Now, what are the reasons? When a person hurts others, there are many reasons why one hurts others. Hurting is a violence, a type of violence. Why one hurts others? Because of First reason is ignorance. Ignorance means ignorance, not knowing why he is hurting others. Because of ignorance, many people hurt others. Verbally or physically, by actions or by words, they hurt others. It is like standing on the other's toes with, with weight shoes. And the military shoes, and the shoes போட்டுட்டு, if you stand on the other toes, எப்படி இருக்கும்? It is like that. Hurting others is like that. When wife is so, கணவன், husband is கண்கண்ட தெய்வம் னு சொல்லுவா. She will take her husband as a god. And he should not take her as an advantage and hurting her. Hurting her. It's ignorance, taking others' ignorance as an advantage and hurting others. After some time, that people, what will they do? They go on hurting, one person is hurting because of our ignorance, suppose. What will happen? This person, one day, they want to take revenge. And always I am becoming the victim of this person. I am always getting hurt by this person. So I am the victim. So what they do? Tit for tat. And they develop anger internally. And they want to take revenge. And the revenge is converted into violence. Because of ignorance also, either you are ignorant or others are ignorant, that ignorance is the cause of violence. We should not take it as an advantage. It is called abusing one's own freedom. One's own freedom. One should not do like that. This is because of ignorance. And second reason is second cause of hurting others is grossness, lack of sensitivity. Lack of sensitivity. Sensitivity means sukshmatvam, lack of sensitivity. This person, because of grossness, he always hurts others. No sympathy, no empathy. He cannot feel or he cannot understand the other person's feelings because of gross mind. I told you, that person scientist. Wife and went and asked, today our marriage day, do you know the ring you have given at the time of marriage, wedding day today? And she went and you want to remind him, this ring, what is this ring? Only metal, no? He says, he is not able to know the value of the wedding ring. Scientist, எப்பவுமே அதுதான் பாப்பா. You are not seeing my tears, so you are not giving time for me, you are not listening to me. What are the tears? Nothing but H2O. Tears are nothing but H2O. What is there? Like this person always talks. No sympathy, empathy, because there is no sensitivity in her. Because of grossness. Some people are like that. That's why they hurt people, not knowing that other person's feelings. Just casually they use words and hurt others. So this sensitivity we have to develop. A sensitive mind is an empathized mind, a healthy mind. So compassion is required, listening is required to develop sensitivity. Sensitivity. And saying words and na cholaliye anu solluva. Just casually they use words and they forget what they have said also. And what they have promised, what they have said also they forget. ஏன்னா gross mind. ஐயோ இந்த வார்த்தை சொன்னோமே, இப்படி சொன்னாமே அது ஞாபகமே இருக்காது அவங்களுக்கு. அந்த அளவுக்கு கிராஸாக இருக்கும். A sensitive person is always alert and vigilant. Such a person, very, very minimum hurting others. is not hurting often, but his hurting or her hurting nature is very, very minimum. That is inevitable, sometimes it happens. But some people often they hurt others. Why theranda they hurt others? Edavadu panna hurting others. They like that only because of grossness. This comes under violence. So hurting comes under violence. Violence is because of ignorance, and violence is because of grossness of the mind, lack of sensitivity. Third cause for himsa or violence, that is, see, anger is also a type of himsa. Anger, kobam. So it is also a type of emotion. It is a mechanism kept by Bhagavan. That mechanism is a defense mechanism. Okay, defense mechanism Bhagavan kept, and it is also a, we can say, mental temperature అని சொல்லலாம். கோபம் என்னன்னா கொஞ்சம் டெம்பரேச்சர் ஜாஸ்தி ஆகிடும் மனசில். The mental temperature is called anger. As a defense mechanism, it is okay. The things to be get to be done. Some things to be done. It's okay that time. We are not talking about that anger, which is an emotion. Emotion-wise, anger is very natural for all people, so that you have to see that and how to manage with that. Okay. But anger, that which is taking vengeance, that anger is unhealthy. That anger only we are talking. Here we are discussing that violence causing anger. Anger that which cause violence. Anger which cause violence is dangerous, unhealthy anger. Therefore, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Kama yesha krodha yesha rajoguna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapma vidhyena miha vairinam. Your enemies are not outside. Your kopame, your enemy. Kopam is a type of violence. When your anger is converting as a violent activities, it is called, it is harmful an artham. Violence causing anger an artham. So be free from such anger. Never develop that type of anger. So Shastra also never accept such anger, a revenge taking anger. Out of anger only one person want to take revenge. Paga, vengeance. I told you Mahabharata is full of vengeance, no? Paga. They want to take tit for tat, tat for tit. This tit for tat and all, our Shastra never accept. If modern days they say, tit for tat theriyana namak. Okay, if you don't know, you cannot survive, they say. So you should know how to take vengeance. Shastra never accept. They all comes under unhealthy traits. One should not hurt themselves and one should not hurt others also. Therefore, violence is not advisable. Suppose we justify the violence. Some people, they justify their violence also. So now, the violence, vengeance illanna, I cannot teach a lesson. I want to teach a lesson to that person. Therefore, never make such a statement. You can never teach a lesson to a person by violence. Through violence, you can never teach a person. That means you are accepting your failure in your life. You may feel that time when you are taking vengeance today, by anger or by guilt or hurt somehow or other, you are trying to teach a lesson to that person. But tomorrow you will repent. Why? Because when you are under anger or hurt, by hurt, you are taking vengeance. Okay, you are a victim. When you are taking vengeance, you are a victim. As a victim, you can never take a right decision. As a victim, I am victimized by that person. I got lot of hurt by that person. Therefore, I have to teach a lesson to that person. Therefore, let me take all decisions to take revenge, to teach a lesson for him. What are all I have to do, I will do. With this vengeance, if you do, as the feeling that I am a victim, your decisions are all wrong decisions only. Because with that attitude of victim, I am a victim, with that attitude you can never take healthy decisions. Impossible. With hurt or vengeance, if you take any decision, it comes under violence only. It comes under violence. Therefore, we justify our vengeance many times. By words, by actions, slightly. யாருக்கு தெரியாமலே. You can never take vengeance without disturbing yourself, your inner conscience. Therefore, develop objectivity. If you feel I am a subjectivity, I am victimized, I got hurt. How can I leave this person and Jeppe? If you take any decision, that will come back to you only one day or other in future. Therefore, that is a type of violence. That is a type of hurt, violence, hurting, harmful, anger. Therefore, never do. That is called come under himsa. Such a person can never get self-knowledge. Impossible. Therefore, our people, what they say? Forgiveness. Next one, kshama varapurade. Kshama. The himsa bhavana, hurting others through anger, through vengeance, is not at all healthy. It is harmful. So, look at them objectively. Objectivity. It is not my near and dear person. Look at that person objectively. When they are hurting us, look at their position. Look at their behavior. Childhood problems. There are so many reasons. I should not blame just like that. This way I have to develop objectivity towards that person. That person is also weak. That person is having a lot of mistakes. If I also take, what is the difference? What is the difference? If you are a spiritual seeker, if you want to prosper in your life, in spiritual field, vengeance annadha ஆலோசனை வரக்கூடாது. கோபம் அங்கிறது வரக்கூடாது. கோபம் மூலமா எந்த நிர்ணயமும் எடுக்கவே கூடாது. அந்த கோபத்தில் ஒரு நிர்ணயம் தப்பாவாக தான் இருக்குமே தவிர ரைட்டாக இருக்கவே முடியாது. இதெல்லாம் நம்ம பெரியவங்களெல்லாம் முன்னாடியே சொல்லி வச்சிருக்கான். அப்போ ஆனால் அந்த கோபத்தில் நம்ம டெசிஷன்ஸ் எல்லாம் கரெக்டுன்னு டிக் பண்ணிட்டே போவோம். அது நம்ம ரியலைஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்குள்ள 3 decades ஆகிடும். 30 years, 40 years later we realize. What is the use? That's why satsangam irukkanum eppovume. To come out of this all traumas, we have to maintain a association with Mahatmas. If we don't have, if we are always in materialistic world, we take wrong decisions because of our likes and dislikes. That's why we hurt others and we get hurt. Either this or that, both are not good. So ahimsa is paramo dharmaha. Parama dharma. Not tit for tat, not teaching lesson, not hurting others, not taking vengeance. All come under himsa. That's why all Mahatmas, they followed ahimsa nar. Ahimsa patiye cholinde polam. Patanjali also first Ashtanga Yoganla, Yama Niyamasla, and the Yamasla, the first value is ahimsa. Ange yoga start aham. Yoga begins with what? Ahimsa. Not with asanam. Sirshasanam, Chakrasanam kadiyadu. Ahimsa. If you follow ahimsa only, you are a yoga practitioner. Not hurting others. Very, very difficult. When one person is hurting me all the time, how can I stay without retardation? I have to retard, no? Against to that person immediately. So retaliation, vengeance. Shastra says nothing doing. Why? No? You are a spiritual seeker, no? Appo na venda Swami, in the spiritual seeker, I want to be a normal person. No? That's why many people, they don't want to give up this spirituality itself. They don't want. என்ன இதெல்லாம் முடியாத காரியம் நமக்கு. கோபம், தாபம், ராகத்வேஷம் எல்லாம் இருக்கும் எனக்கு. இதெல்லாம் விட்டுட்டு எப்படி இருக்க முடியும்? என்ன விஷயம்னா ஆத்தியாத்மிகம்னா நாட் so easy. Values to follow, it's not so easy. Who said it is easy? It's not easy. It is difficult only. Therefore, how to come out? Lord Krishna won't say all those things. We have to derive from many other texts, Mahatmas. They have written so many books. So, anger caused fair punishment also. Anger caused fair punishment is accepted, Shastra. Anger caused fair punishment. Okay? இது கொஞ்சம் டிஃபரன்ஸ் தெரியணும். ஆங்கரே வரக்கூடாதுன்னா வரலாம். ஆங்கர் காஸ்ட் பனிஷ்மெண்ட் நீங்கள் கொடுக்கும்போது ஃபஸ்ட்டு யூ ஹேவ் டு கிவ் டைம். பனிஷ்மெண்ட் கொடுக்கும்போது யூ வாண்ட் டு கிவ் பனிஷ்மெண்ட் டு தட் பர்சன். ஃபஸ்ட்டு கிவ் டைம் டு தட் பர்சன் and first listen to that person before you are taking vengeance or before teaching a lesson to that person. You listen to that person first. Listen to that person and give time to that person so that you also can think, that person also will think. So give sufficient time before punishment. Punishment means before taking a violent action. Second thing, learn to listen from that person, from that side. Listen always. Hearing. நம்ம கேட்க மாட்டோம். கோபம் வந்தப்போ ஷட் அப் யுவர் மவுத்னு சொல்லிட்டோம். யூ ஹேவ் டு லிசன். பொறுமை வேணுமே. அந்த கோபத்தில் ஆல்ரெடி ஹட்டிங் தட் ஃப்ரம் தட் பர்சன் ஹூ வில் லிசன். பட் சாஸ்திரா சேஸ் லிசன். Listen from other person's angle, other person's views you have to listen. Third condition is to dilute this anger is any punishments require objectivity. Develop objectivity. Develop objectivity. So anger caused unjust punishment. Anger caused fair punishment accepted. Anger caused unjust punishment. Really that person is not deserved for that punishment. But out of anger I punish that person. It is not accepted. Fair punishment is accepted. Anger caused fair punishment is accepted. Anger caused unjust punishment is not accepted in the Shastra. Even taking vengeance on one's own brother or sister, mother, father, husband or wife, not allowed. You are only the loser. அதனால கோபத்தினால I am a victim நினைச்சு ஒன்றும் பண்ணாது. You are not going to be the beneficiary. But அப்படின்னு சொல்லி you need not become a doormat. Okay. You have to be intelligent and objectively you have to see that person. So what is finally? Remove ignorance. How to remove ignorance? And study Shastra. Remove your ignorance. Number one, I should remove my ignorance firstly. Second one is I have to be sensitive. Become sensitive. Then third is I have to reduce my anger. Thirdly, I should know my level of anger. What am I doing? Thinking anamata. how am I going to act, how am I going to react to this, reaction action enna pannanom. So we have to plan. This is called about ahimsa. These are all the conditions. Number 3. Number 4, kshamaha. Okay, sorry. Kshantihi. And the forbearance. Kshama means patience. Forbearance. Shanti. Accommodation in artham. So you see, you can come out from this anger, violence, if you have shanti. Shanti means forbearance. Develop that toughness, accommodating any person in your mind. Accommodating. Accepting not that behavior of the person, accepting the person. No person deserves our hatred. No, we should not hate. Our anger or hatred is not towards the person. Even hatred is not necessary, but we have to see the person's behavior only. I disagree, but not with the person. How? Person behavior only same dane. Generally, when the person's behavior is not congenial, we hate the person. And we develop a lot of aversion towards the person. Appadi pannakoodadu. We have to develop accommodation towards the person. We disagree with the behavior of that person. I don't disagree with the person. I disagree with the behavior of the person. I know how to keep that behavior away from me, not developing aversion or hatred towards the person. Accommodate the person, excuse the person, forgive the person, and teach a lesson to the person as much as possible. One day or other, that person will learn. And time will teach a lesson to that person. அது வரைக்கும் நமக்கு என்ன எடுக்கணும்? Forbearance. No person is a sinful person. By birth, no one is sinful. Everyone is saintly person by birth. Because of so many reasons, a person become a culprit. Because of so many reasons, so many factors, a person become culprit. That's why we have to see a person. Person, humaneness and சொல்லுவா. இதுதான் humaneness, மானவத்வம் சொல்லலாம். Humaneness. இந்த humaneness இருக்கணும்னா we have to go beyond our likes and dislikes. Deha abhimana, mana abhimana, ahankara. We have to transcend. Mahatmas are those people who transcend the likes, dislikes, abhimana, ahankara, irsha, asuya. That's why they are able to accept all types of people. அவனுக்களுக்கே முடியறது நமக்கே முடிய மாட்டேங்கிறது என்ன? They are also human beings. They have humaneness. Ordinary people are not having humaneness. Manavatvam they are having. These people are having mrugatvam. Manavanla manavatvam illamale, humaneness illamale, animal nature is hiding. Hiding. There is a spiritual person, a spiritual seeker. The journey is the toughest journey. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhage. ஏன்னா இதெல்லாம் தாண்டி வரணும். என்ன ராக துவேஷா கோபம் தாபம்ல ஞானம் வரப்போறதே கிடையாது. ஏன்னா ராக துவேஷா கோபா தாப்பா யாருக்கு இருக்கும்? தே அபிமானம், மன அபிமானம், அகங்காரம், மமக்காரம் இருந்தாதான் இதெல்லாம் இருக்கும். அகங்காரம் மமக்காரம் விடாமலே ஞானம் வராது. பாருங்க, அங்கே ஒரு பக்கம் க்ஷேத்ரக்னி சொல்லி புருஷா பிரகிருதி சொல்லி டக்குன்னு ஞானத்துக்கு வந்துட்டார் பகவான். இப்படியே மகா வாக்கியம் சொல்லிகிட்டே போகலாம் இல்லையோன்னா பகவானுக்கு தெரியும் அவ்வளோ ஈஸியாக வராது, வர்ச்சூஸ் இல்லாமலே வராது. அதுதான் க்ஷாந்தினார், பொறுமையினர். சாந்தி பத்னி க்ஷமா புத்திரஹான்னார். ரியல் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் ரியல் ரிலேட்டிவ்ஸ் ஆர் பாந்தவாஸ் ஆர் தோஸ் பீப்புள் அவர் ஓன் சத்யம், அஹிம்சா, தர்மம், சாந்தி, தே ஆர் ஓன்லி அவர் ரியல் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ். இது டெவலப் பண்ணணும். தட்ஸ் வை எவ்ரி கிரைசிஸ், எவ்ரி சிச்சுவேஷன் இஸ் கம்மிங் டு டீச் எ லெசன் ஃபார் அஸ். Teach a lesson. Intelligent, mature people learn a lesson from every experience. Every experience gives a lesson for them. They look at that into an experience. They take it as a lesson. பாடம் கற்றுப்பா, அவ்வளோதான். But unintelligent, immature people, every experience they look at it as a bitter experience and சொல்லுவார். Therefore one has to develop patience. பொறுமை. எவ்வளோ பொறுமை என்ன, இவ்வளோன்னு கிடையாது. It has no limit. அவ்வளோ பொறுமை. Then next one, ஆர்ஜவம், uprightness, straightforwardness. Straightforwardness, freedom from split personality. Avakratvam, uprightness or freedom from split personality. Manasyekam, vachasyekam, karmanyekam, mahatmanaha. Vachasi anyat, manasi anyat, karmani anyat, duratmanaha. So whatever we speak and whatever we do, whatever we think, must have an alignment. They should not be different. They should be one and the same. Alignment is called arjavam. Then acharya upasanam, service to the teacher. Special virtue for a Vedantic student. Acharya is teacher, guru. Upasana means service or worshipping the Guru. Service to the Guru is nothing but attending the Bhagavad Gita class is service to the Guru, real service. Not giving bhiksha, not washing the clothes, not cleaning the house. First service is listening to Shastra from the Guru is Upasanam, Acharya Upasanam. Afterwards only other services. So without this service, all other services are meaningless. Therefore we have to develop that interest in Shastra study. How long? Until I get Brahma Jnana. We have to regularly, systematically study Shastra without any fail. With commitment we have to study. That is called Acharya Upasanam. Then comes Shaucham, purity. That we will see in the next class. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.